A question that keeps coming up about AI technology is security. If I'm using AI to generate marketing ideas, does that mean everyone else will get access to it when they ask AI to do the same thing? I mean, that's what AI does, right? Grabs a bunch of existing information and synthesizes it to create an output. Sounds like anything I put in can be used for someone else's output. But I'm no expert on security and especially how to secure my AI dealing. So I am talking today with Emanuel Rose, an expert in secure and encrypted content creation with AI. His insights have been crystallized in the Authenticity series of books that delve into Generation Z, social media, and AI's evolving role in our digital conversations. Today, I'm particularly excited about how to explore how to leverage secure and encrypted GPT portals to generate high-quality original content. Let's dig in.
Welcome to the Buzzworthy Marketing Show.
Welcome to the show, Emanuel. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Buzz. I'm excited to talk to you today.
Oh man, I am super excited about this. This is like, so when I was putting together this series or this season 7 here, it was all about AI. And one of the questions that you don't hear enough about, I think, but it is coming up more and more is like, as marketers, we're utilizing this tool for ideation, research, and all these other things. And in some cases, actually being able to create some pretty cool stuff. So what does that mean for our intellectual property? Are we getting our ideas? Are they getting proliferated to other people who are using the same AI technologies, that kind of stuff? And so when we bumped into each other, man, I was like, oh, we got to be talking about this. So I want to real quick, I want you to give, like, I let everybody know in my intro that you are this security of AI genius, but talk to me a little bit about, you have this platform, and remind me the name of your platform.
Oh yeah, and it's not my platform. It's just one that I found that is what I've landed on. So it's called Aviat AI. I wish it was my platform.
That's right.
I wish I had developed it. Yes.
Now, why do you like this particular platform and you use it? Correct me if I'm wrong. You're using it in ideation, content creation, research, and stuff like that. Why do you like this one over all the other AI tools that are out there?
Well, let's see. From a functional point of view, number one, it allows me to upload all my books and all my podcasts and reference that in a space so that it's like the mini Emanuel Rose. And so I could say, hey, generate 30 LinkedIn posts from all my content and make references for images. And so I get 30 days of me brought to my lap, essentially, with, so in 15 minutes, I've got everything I need for a month, which is amazing.
So now, if I'm not mistaken, you can create a GPT that does exactly the same thing. So, and I know that there's something different than that because it utilizes the Bard and GPT or ChatGPT and stuff like that. So what makes this different than just having a GPT on, say, ChatGPT?
Well, it's partitioned away from everything, so it's contained. Everything that happens on Avia is under an SSL and it's encrypted, and so that's the second part of why I love this platform so much is that I'm not sharing anything that I'm creating for everybody else to leverage and use and claim ownership and copyright on.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So. You talked a little bit about the LinkedIn and using it for just some ideation for a bunch of posts. That's awesome. And I think that we actually have a masterclass on how people can create an entire year's worth of content in a matter of 5 days. And the ideation part is probably the hardest part. So I think we're going to have to take a look at this and add another tool to our tool belt here. What other things do you feel like because you said you're bringing all of your content into this silo, right? It's like you're just looking here, unless you tell it to look somewhere else, right?
Right. Yeah.
What else could we use that for?
Well,
Or what are you using it for to leverage your marketing?
The third thing I love about Avia is that I can choose from any of the primary GPTs. So I can go and I can generate, let's say, a blog post. Like I just built this how a fly fishing guide can triple their income, right? Because I just went fishing with a guy and I was like, man, I really want to help him. So I developed I spoke a video, I pulled the transcript, and then I plugged it into Claude, I plugged it into Bard, and I plugged it into Chat, and generated 3 different versions of a complete blog post. So that's kind of a nice tool also. Yeah.
That's awesome. So you're able to basically test different AI machines, learning machines, and seeing what you like best, right? And then maybe take a little bit of each of them to create one piece. I love that. I love that.
But always, to me, the best practice is I'm always the source material, right? That's how I continue to maintain my voice and the essence of my message, right? And so to me, that's critical versus just saying, hey, write me a 10,000 page ebook, about AI and security, like blah, that's
right. No, that doesn't work. It doesn't work, everybody. I promise you. I don't care who tells you that you can just put in about 5 minutes worth of input and even reference some of your own content, and it's going to spit you out a book. It's not happening.
No, not happening.
I tested all of them. They all are using the same. Was it long something LMD, LDM, something like that? I can't remember the letters. LMT maybe. And it's just like this. It's all using the same technology. It's all accessing the same databases. It's the same internet, right? It's not. And so what you're saying is like this tool here, Avia, is able to like literally create you're creating the realm in which it's using that technology. So you don't end up getting all of that, that same feel. Like, have you ever noticed, like if you just go on the open ChatGPT and you ask it a question that maybe you've asked before, but in a different stream without any reference, and all of a sudden you're hearing the same stuff that like the gurus have said a few times, and they put it in the same order, like, hey, regenerate that. And they put it in the same order, even, and a lot of the same, buzzwords and
the word moreover. I've never seen that word more in my life than in the last 2 years. We don't speak like that.
In conclusion.
Right. Every last paragraph's in conclusion. Journey is another word that the chats love. Everything's a journey.
Oh, or setting sail. Oh my gosh. Every time we're going to set sail on blah, 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 right?
Yeah. So for those of us who are producing content, we have to stay focused on keeping our spark. And so that's why I like self-referencing past work. And if I'm going to do anything, I'll use it to generate new ideas. Like, what are the trends for 2024 in content marketing? Like, or what topics do I hit for 2024? And then I go through that curated list and I say, oh, that one thing is interesting to me. Like, I really want to do 90-second videos. Okay, cool. I can do that. And then go and take that idea, which I didn't have on my own, and then produce it.
That is amazing. And you can take in your videos that you've already done. Maybe even this interview here, you could put it into your Avia there and go, oh, wow, now it's referencing that in something else you do. It's like, this conversation I had with Michael Buzinski on the Buzzworthy Marketing Show, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, like I'll say, hey, give me 10 posts from the Buzz interview. And then it'll pull what we actually talked about and make that happen. So to me, that's a best use of the tool, right?
Yes, I love that. That is, I feel like ideation and outlines and research, like those are the big 3 things that I think that the open AI world does really well. When it comes to actually content creation, I think the only one that I've seen, like ChatGPT is my favorite. thus far. And I haven't, and to be honest, I haven't been like really looking at other ones because I'm just like, hey, let me see what this one does, right?
Sure.
And but I go in and I really like emails. It does a pretty darn good job at emails. And I'm wondering if that's because Google Gmail is somehow crawlable. I don't know, but it's like the one thing it does really. If you want if you don't like writing emails, put your question in ChatGPT. It writes a damn good email.
Yeah, no, that's funny. Yeah, and then you see. I think that Claude actually for business is a little more like formal and professional. I think, but not overly. But I agree with you on the emails, and I would say go with Bard and see the difference between chat and Bard Bard or Gemini.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to play. Well, I just started playing with Dolly and Midjourney. So I'm doing a speaking gig in Dallas, and I'm like, I'm just like tired of all the tired clip art and the crap and stuff like that. And it's really funny because I use Prezi, and they've incorporated AI into that to where you basically say, this is what I'm doing, this is my outline, and it creates about 60% of the layout. You say, this is the template I want to use.
Prezi's cool. Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's cool. But then I got into it and I'm like, but I'm still stuck with all this stupid clip art and all this and stock photography. And so I'm like, maybe I could get, like, I was doing an analogy of the Bumblebee, the Transformer Bumblebee, and how that's different than all the other yellow Camaros. And I was like, I wish I had a picture of a sea of Camaros. And I put that in. I was like, give me a sea of Camaros in the parking lot. And it did it. I was like, this is amazing. So I spent like 2 hours replacing every image in a 20-minute conversation.
Well, I mean, what's amazing is that you could do it as if you're, Roald Dahl, or you could pick, you could say, if I was John Muir, what would I do for these images, and so the variety and the personalization is phenomenal on the image side. Yeah.
Have you seen anything beyond Dolly and Midjourney that you like better or for different reasons?
Yeah, I have found a couple tools. I'd have to pull one up that is that again has got the filters to be able to set it up exactly how you want it. And so, because I'm a word guy, not a visual guy, then I sent that to my design team. So I don't have as much control over that as what you're just. I couldn't do what you just did with your presentation. I'd have to make a request to my team.
It's funny because when I started, and this is a tip for everyone here, is that when you start playing with these tools, you have to understand that you are talking to a toddler. Yeah. And the toddler barely it understands all the words, but it can't, like when you talk to a toddler and you say, and you ask it a question, understands pretty much everything you're saying, but its response is still a toddler if you don't give it as all of the information. It can't synthesize what's going on in your brain. So you have to give it all of the things. So at first I did a couple, and it was very lethargic in that the output. And it was like, oh, I can't use that. And like, I learned like, hey, don't use words because it doesn't do words well. Right. So you start understanding what its limitations are, and you start getting better and better output quicker and quicker. And another tip that I'll give when you're doing anything in imagery or even for content ideation is to be specific. So if it gives you something you don't like, say, hey, from now on, don't do this. Don't include this. Right. There's another word. I'm gonna come up with it, but it's like, but it's a different word that nobody uses that ChatGPT always puts in there. But anyway, I digress. So, you're building this relationship in each of those chats. And I think that people forget, like, you don't have to start over. So like when I'm doing outlines for my show, I have a chat thread that's already trained for my voice in ChatGPT. Hey, I want to talk about this today. Give me and then I'm like, what question should I be asking you to help me create a good outline for a 20-minute conversation? Boom, it's here's all the questions. Oh, great. And I answer all the questions. And I give it back to them. what do you say? And it gives me about 80% of what I need in
That's awesome.
a lot less time, right? And especially with a 20-minute conversation, there's a lot of things you can go into. For my monologues, people know it's like I put a lot of content in 20 minutes, right? So that's my tip, along with what you're saying, is in that use it for you, right? And be the content. Don't let it dictate your content.
Right. And so on that, what you're talking about as far as prompt engineering, I love that. And one of my secrets is I say, as a marketing genius, as an email genius, as a photo genius, so that you're starting with a very high level expectation for it. And then I finished, I said, do you have enough information to get me what I'm asking for? And if not, ask me some questions. And so those two things, because I love the prompts, but I don't want to think like a computer, right? Like that's just that's my line. I'm not going to think the way the computer thinks. I have no interest in it, and it's not what I'm good at. Right. So I ask these two kind of opening and closing parts to the prompt engineering, and I have a checklist for anybody who wants to get my checklist. You can ask me for it. I'll send it to you.
Awesome. Let's get you. Yeah. We'll get that into the show notes. That'd be awesome. Yeah. But I think that you nailed it on the head, though. Remember, this is a chat, right? And so you and I just went in and did two different ways to get the same output, right? Yeah. I did it, and I never read how to do that. I was just talking to it. I'm like, what did it? Because somebody had mentioned, like, you can ask it what you don't know, because you don't know what you don't know. So I'm like, what question should I ask you? And it says, well, you should ask me all these questions. Okay, great. Let me answer all these questions. Like, you're sitting there, you have it, and so people, the point is that when people talk about the engineering, right? It's just a conversation. So if you look at ChatGPT, Bard, Claude, any of these engines, as if you were sitting in front of a copywriter, or you were sitting in front of an illustrator, what would you have to tell a human in order to get what you were looking for? Yeah. Because like you just said, right? With DALL-E, you're like, it's a visual thing. It needs visuals, just like a graphic designer does, right? You have to point them to other things you like in order to get the output for the human that you like. Oh, yeah. Now, DALL-E is not as smart as I wish it was. I actually uploaded a picture of me, and I said, I would like a picture of me with a 3D framework around me. And it did this really cool framework around a picture of somebody that had hair, no beard, and about 20 years younger than me. I was like, this is not me. They must have gone back in history, Buzz. That's what happened. I wish I was that good looking back then. It was gonna, like, man, I wish that was what I looked like. I'd get out of marketing and get back into modeling. So there you go. Yeah. So I was a pinky toe model back in the day. Yeah. So long story. We'll go into another. Sounds like a Seinfeld episode. I love it. All right. So what else in the world of AI and content marketing is your jam? And I love that. That's what you and I have a lot in common with. Where else are you seeing AI and content marketing like coming together to make better? Well, make better. That's always a big wide open space. I think unfortunately it's made things. It's made a lot of lazy marketers. That's the first thing that I'm seeing. And so we all knew that was going to happen. Oh yeah. No, the spray and pray. The spray and pray has just exploded like beyond belief. I think what it does, at least in my day-to-day, is it these little leverage points that free up massive amounts of time for me. So I can work on taking more position on how to use the tool, right? And how to think about how to use the tool and ideate around that. And then it actually has freed up time so I can go and do other stuff also that's disconnected from all this electronics, right? Yeah. Spend more time outside with my dog and things like that. So, that's the thing I preach is it's a tool. We need to figure out how to use the tool to help us with things that we're not good at or we don't like or we're bad at. And then
once we find a tool, like I found Aviat, I love it. And then, the next thing I'm moving on to is like you're talking about with images. And then is there something that I can do with video and images that will, like Opus clips. I love Opus clips. That's great. Now I need an editing suite that can feed the Opus clips. So I take each part of the marketing campaign and find these tests, validate the tools, and then integrate them into the workflow.
I'm surprised you're saying Opus clips. I actually downloaded, or I signed up for the free one of those, and I gave it something that wasn't cut up already, right?
Yeah.
Just a raw conversation. And it gave me, and maybe this is my background in media production, but I was just like, these are not even points. Like some of it was just like a 30-second setup to a point. I'm like, why would you make that a highlight?
Yeah, right.
Are you finding that it's doing a good job of just segmenting your video and then you're just picking the ones that you actually like, or maybe I just didn't play with it long enough?
Yeah, I went after it thinking all I want is one short per conversation. And so, if I get 10 out and I like one, then that's a win for me.
Okay.
So, because I personally am not going to spend that much time curating 10 shorts.
Right.
Too much.
Yeah. I'm trying to so I have a producer for my show, and one of the things what she does is actually create the clips. And we've used a couple of different programs. Buzzsprout is the platform we use for the podcast side. Well, one of the things it does is it gives you your highlights and it gives you timestamps. So she's actually and those are actually pretty good. And so she's actually able to go in and grab the timestamps for those because she has an editing program that she uses, puts the frameworks and all the other stuff in there with the subtitles and all that good stuff. And I don't know if she's using Adobe or not. I can't remember. That's what we were using.
ClipScribe is another one that I found that's really good.
What's it called again?
ClipScribe.
ClipScribe. I've heard that one is very good. As far as that goes. Yes. We were using Cast Magic for a little while. And we do like Cast Magic. For those who are doing a lot of this type of podcasting, Cast Magic is a great way of getting all of your social media ideation, your time, a good transcript, all of those types of things, all in a very low cost because it's a volume. So it doesn't have the high end of, say, something like CapShow is another program out there for podcasters that will help you with getting all of the things from your show out there. So social media, your show notes, your transcripts, blog ideas, all that good stuff, right?
Right.
And they're great starters. They're not all the way, just like anyone is not all the way, and it shouldn't be. You should be using those for ideation, like you were saying there. So yeah, I think that all of these, like everybody's listening, you're going to have to listen to this show again or go to the transcripts and search out all the things we've said, because we put a lot of tools out there for people to check out. But I think that's the key though, right? Is test, find out what works for you, right?
Yeah. That's the secret. And like I said, pick something that is a weak spot, a weakness for you. You don't have staffing for, you don't have an IC for. Find the tool, find 2 tools, test them out, get them in your workflow, and then move on to the next part.